Hello, welcome to another Becoming a Modern Man video. We are playing our Rakdos Hollow 1 deck this time, which is a pretty sweet and fairly budget deck based around Hollow 1 and Flame Braid Adept for the most part. Basically the idea is to discard a load of cards, and you can use Madness to take advantage, or your Graveyard in terms of Bloodghast or Delve. So there's a lot going on, but it's a pretty cool deck. Our opponent's on red-green Ponza. Just leads off with a Forest and an Arbor Elf. I could have bolted the Arbor Elf there, but I don't think the opponent's going to get too much value, and we're kind of in a tricky spot. We've only got one land at the moment, and so we kind of want a Faithless Looting, but at the same time I want to get the value off of using the Faithless Looting with the Flame Braid Adept, so this is the way I chose to play. Well, there's a Utopia Sprawl, doesn't have anything immediate to play. So we're going to Faithless Looting here, just looking for our second land, given that we didn't draw it. So, question on what to pitch here. We definitely want to get rid of the Bloodghast, and we found the land, so we can get that back. So that's good. And I think I end up ditching the third Flame Braid Adept, because I don't think it's likely that we're going to need that many Flame Braids. So so we're going to play the land. We're going to get back our Bloodghast. We've got a 3/2 Flame Braid here. It's got Menace, so opponent's not going to be able to block here. And I think we're just going to use the other mana to bolt the Arbor Elf, so opponent can't make 5 mana next turn, as they otherwise could have done. One plays Crumble to Dust, blowing up our Blackcleave Cliffs. That's the only Blackcleave Cliffs in the deck, so it's only taking one land out of our deck, which obviously works fairly well for us. But we are a little bit stuck otherwise, as we haven't drawn a second land. We're going to be able to play the Flame Braid Adept though. One plays a Arbor Elf and then Reap and Sow to destroy our mountain. We get to attack for 4. We don't draw a land, unfortunately. Draw a land here, but I'm not entirely keen to play it. Obviously our opponent is land destruction. And I kind of, if possible, I'd rather get to a position where we're able to cast the Angler off it. We also have Bloodghast, so if our opponent kills the Bloodghast, we might think about playing a land then. So we just block the Bloodghast there. Now I'm going to play the land and get Bloodghast back with haste, because it puts our opponent on a 2-turn clock basically. And the whatever one card he has in his hand doesn't seem to be up to much, and it looks like opponent didn't draw anything particularly relevant and wasn't able to kill off our creatures, so managed to pick up the win there. So it didn't go exactly to plan in terms of our lands, but our opponent wasn't able to really stop us, our creatures, after the land destruction, so we managed to pick up the win there. So let's go on to game 2, see how we run here. Okay, so this is our opener. We've got Faithless Looting, Hollow 1, or 2 copies of Faithless Looting, Hollow 1 and a Gomag Angler. Also a Fetch and a Mountain, so fairly solid. Opening hand, fairly happy with this. Opponent leads off with a Mountain, which is pretty good. I mean, you might be running Lightning Bolt, but obviously not having a turn 1 mana Dork is obviously good for us, and so opponent's not ramping too quickly. I'm going to crack it at Blood Crypt and Faithless Looting here. Unfortunately we draw into a bunch of lands, which we don't particularly want. Obviously we are aware that our opponent is on land destruction, but we only need sort of 2 to 3 lands really to operate. But there's a Utopia Sprawl for the turn and passes. A very slow start for our opponent. We Faithless Looting and find a Flame Break, Phoenix and a Burning Inquiry. I'm going to get rid of the Phoenix. Obviously we've got big creatures here, so we're going to be able to return that from the graveyard, so that's a fairly easy choice. Next choice is a little more difficult. We can either pitch one of the lands or maybe the Reunion, although the Reunions could be useful later on. So yeah, I think I end up pitching one of the lands. And then we can look at Burning Inquiry here. It's a very risky card. Obviously you don't know which cards you're going to discard, so you might end up getting rid of all your relevant cards, such as with this hand. If I end up discarding the 2 hollow ones and the Angler, then I'm not going to be too happy, depending on what I draw, I suppose. But I think the opportunity is here now. We've discarded 2 cards for the turn with Faithless Looting, so hollow 1 costs 1 mana, so we could either cast a hollow 1, or we could cast Gurmag Angler, or we can try the Burning Inquiry here, which is the risky but potentially the right play here. So we draw 3 cards, discard 3. Unfortunately, we do end up discarding one of the hollow ones, but we also end up pitching a Bloodghast into the graveyard, which is nice. So we're going to be able to run out a hollow 1 here for free. Obviously, it would have been better if we were able to put 2 hollow ones onto the battlefield, but that's just the way it worked out, unfortunately. But as a roast to deal with the hollow 1, and then follows it with an Elvish Mystic, which isn't too concerning. You got land, so we can return the Bloodghast, and we can also play Angler and the Flameblade Adept here, while also being able to recur the Phoenix. So we're just going to attack in for 2 with the Phoenix. It has Acid Moss to destroy one of our lands, and then we draw another land, which we're just going to crack, and then we're going to use Faithless Looting to draw into some more cards, and then potentially if we get another 1 mana discard spell, we can discard further cards to pump up the Adept. Our opponent ends up conceding, obviously didn't have enough going on, but yeah, we would have been hitting pretty hard. I think if I remember rightly, we would have hit the Burning Inquiry off the Faithless Looting, which would then have allowed us to discard 5 cards for the turn. So we'd be hitting for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, assuming our opponent blocks the Angler. Otherwise they'd be taking 15. So yeah, looks like we managed to wrap that one up fairly nicely. Yeah, land destruction not terribly effective against us, given that we kind of run on a very small amount of mana, and also our Faithless Lootings, etc. allow us to see quite a lot of cards, so we can dig fairly deep into our deck if we are desperate for a land drop. So yeah, didn't work out too well for our opponent. He didn't really get into his big spells, and his land destruction wasn't terribly effective against us. So worked out pretty well for us, and yeah, you got to see the power of the deck there.